time in American history where the rules that previously existed, really, we can't follow. We can't act as though it's business as usual in the United States of America, especially when you're in a leadership position, especially when you've been elected to federal office. And there are a few politicians who really do a good job of holding the other side to account and pointing out the rampant and wild hypocrisy that exists, the duality. And then there's a few who step it up to the next level and really just call it like it is, that the other side is in a cult. They follow the dear leader. They can't question anything he says, even the things that fly in the face of reality itself. And there's a few of these people. Eric Swalwell is one of them. Young guy, promising future in politics, especially, as I see it, if he continues to do this, to call the other side what they are, to their faces, on the congressional record. I'm going to play this moment from a committee hearing yesterday where Eric Swalwell just flatly tells them, look, if this is the case, if these things exist and this is the reality, I hate to break it to you, fellas, but you're in a cult. I'll just play the clip and we'll talk about it on the other side.
My colleagues, none of this today that you are bringing makes sense. Your inconsistencies, your hypocrisy, your sycophancy, unless you are in a cult. And guys, I'm starting to think you're in a cult. That is your right, but it's not your responsibility. I promise you that's not what your constituents would want. So if you believe in states' rights, except when a jury in that state convicts your nominee for president, you might be in a cult. If you claim you back the blue but want to defund the police when the police go to your nominee's house to retrieve national security secrets, you might be in a cult. If you're supporting a guy whose felony convictions prevent him from getting a security clearance, you might be in a cult. And if the guy you're supporting for president has felony convictions that prevent him from going to Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Cambodia, Canada, Chile, China, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Egypt, Ethiopia, Hong Kong,
my motion
India,
takes precedent.
Indonesia, Iran, Ireland, Israel, Japan, Kenya, Macau, Malaysia, Mexico, Morocco, Nepal, New Zealand, Peru, Philippines, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, Taiwan, Tanzania, Tunisia, Turkey, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, and the UK.
The gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
That last part there you may have missed because he knew he was under the gun on the time. He knew he was trying to get there. What he was saying is there's a list of countries that if you're a convicted felon, you cannot travel to, you cannot go to. And I don't know how this would work if Donald Trump were to become president again, being a convicted felon. I'm certain many of these countries would relax that rule for the president of the United States because so many people, so many countries depend upon our support. But you're not allowed to go. And currently, the Republicans are running a guy who can't go to an exhaustive list of countries based on consequences for his crimes. He's a convicted felon. And maybe I shouldn't, with such derision, felon. But I'm only mirroring Republican attitudes about crime. Remember, they're the law and order party. Back the blue. Unless it's an insurrection that's taking place and a man is literally beating a police officer with an upside down flag. Curious, where have we seen that symbol before? It's a cult. It meets all the hallmarks of a cult. Maybe I should do a video, a broken down video, do a little research and look into what are the hallmarks of a cult and just how does the Republican Party mirror that. They've given up the party, literally given up the party to the Trumps, the Republicans. It's the Trump party that is now run by the daughter-in-law, the goofy, dopey-ass daughter-in-law who knows nothing about politics, or the running of a political party, the organizational structure They don't know anything. All she's there for is to make sure that as much money as possible is funneled into the legal coffers and the campaign of Donald Trump. Who cares about down ballot candidates? Who cares about Larry Hogan running for Senate, possibly going to flip the Senate seat in Maryland? Who cares about that? He's spoken ill of the dear leader. We must jettison him from the party's good graces. All the other stuff is true, though. If you want to be the states' rights party, but then not want to give blue states rights, you're in a cult. You're not looking out for the United States of America. You're looking out for the red states within the United States of America, which is something Donald Trump did even as president of the, threatening to withhold federal aid to like California for forest fires because it's led by Democrats. It's a cult. Not being able to talk about reality on reality's terms if it goes up against your dear leader who writes on maps with Sharpies to extend the path of hurricanes. And you're here for it. I mean, we need more of this. We need more of this from men and women like Eric Swalwell. There's a whole new generation of politicians coming up. I have high hopes for the future for a media literate set of leaders who are going to run for Congress and be able to call out without this nonsense of, oh, my good friend across the aisle, I extend my warmth and friendship. We see Joe Biden doing this because he's been in the system so long, in this system of glad handing across the aisle stuff, that we have a president now who oftentimes says things that are untrue about Republicans, but not in the way that many of you are thinking. He says things that are gracious. He called Mitch McConnell an honorable man. He called Kevin McCarthy an honest man. That's just not true. I don't know that I would categorize it as a lie, because I think a lie, there's intent there. But we need to stop with this. Nancy Pelosi has said many times, we need a strong Republican Party. No, we don't. A strong Republican Party is the least thing that we should be looking for, the last thing that we should be looking for. We need a dead or dying Republican Party, which is what we have now. They have self-immolated. Because, why? Let's say it together. It's a cult. So thank you, Eric Swalwell. Thanks for telling the truth. Thanks for pressing through beyond your time. Listing the countries that the Republican leader, the party leader, cannot travel to currently because he is a convicted felon. He can't even go to his own GD golf courses in Scotland. But they want him to be president of the United States to give him the opportunity to extricate himself from trouble, to possibly pardon himself. And then with the MAGA Supreme Court, who knows what they'd say about that? Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to know. You can leave a comment below. We can talk about it there. That will help YouTube to show this stuff. I almost went curse word with it. To show this shit to all the new people. Anyway, I would appreciate it very much. You can also leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. Do not leave a series of multiple voicemails. Google cuts you off at 3 minutes. If you can't get it in 3 minutes, then be more concise. Email daily@dollemore.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if I'm your flavor of political commentator, if there's somebody else on this platform that does more for you than me, support that person. Give them a couple bucks a month. In this space of independent media, it is more important now than ever. But if I am that guy, click the join button below. For $2 a month, you can help me make these videos. You can also go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast and help support there. Follow me on social media if that's your thing. I'm at Dollemore, and I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine and take care of one another.